Yes, my name's Rose Twine, team leader, EcoStove. Here we manufacture, import and distribute EcoStoves and electric pressure cookers branded as Quick Pots.
My name is Omongina Isaac. I'm in sales and technical.
Like any other product that is manufactured by ourselves, we give a warranty on each product that we produce. My colleague can explain more of what is the definition of the warranty. A lot of people have come to believe, okay, maybe there's a misunderstanding between a guarantee, manufacturer's guarantee and manufacturer's warranty. Here we do manufacturer's warranty because these are products we produce ourselves. And this to say is that the warranty is that anything that we provide to you as a customer, once we supply it to you, if it has a defect, we're liable. If it does not meet the use that we promised you, then we're liable. We're liable in a sense that it should function the way we sold it to you. It should perform the way we sold it to you. If it doesn't, then within the next 1 week, surely we should be able to either return it, repair it, or replace it. And so to me, that is what a warranty stands for. Because we have told you this product uses volcanic rocks, this uses this uses that. But what it does not cover is those defects that are caused by you as a customer. If you do not empty the ash, like I was saying, and it overflows and it burns the wires that are running the fans. If these are defects that are generated or caused by the user, that does not get covered because it's not a manufacturer's warranty. Manufacturer's warranty stands to correct any defect that could have been on material or in the manufacturing process. So that way we are liable until your product is in max. This is why we go further. And when we come to your home on installation, we install, we train you on how to use the product. We leave knowing that the product performs as promised. So on the user, we also teach you how do's and don'ts. We have a user manual attached on each of our product. So should you have an issue that is a user issue, probably you changed your maids or you changed, the whoever is using, the kids have gone back to school and so the person we trained is not there. And maybe there's a misuse or a mishandling. Then now the warranty ceases to become valid because now it's on misuse of this product because you did not follow the instructions that we gave you. That is partly what it is.
You can buy an EcoStove from all our branches countrywide. We have branches in all over the country. Wakaliga in Mengo being our head office. You can also walk in Wakaliga. We have a shop there which is open 24/7. We have a branch also in Mbarara. We have in Fort Porto. We have in Gulu. We have in Lira. We have in Soroti. We have in Mbale. We have in Kabale. We have in Pakwach. As I said, we have all branches countrywide. So you can walk in and then you'll be able to pick a product of your choice because all our products that we are talking about here, they're in all our branches. An EcoStove can last as long as you handle it in a proper way. You follow the cautions that we gave you on how to handle it. As we said earlier on, it comes with a user manual on it, on what you are not supposed to do and what you're supposed to do. So an EcoStove can go even more than 10 years when you're using it.
Okay.
Yes.
And maybe to add on that one, our stoves are made in various sizes and they're made in various types. For example, the metal stove or the fabricated stove, if you look at this picture, we have the ones which are tiled and we have the ones which are, the green ones are all mobile on the left side of my hand. And the middle ones are permanent and the last ones. So if it's tiled and constructed permanently, this one I can guarantee even up to 20 years. There are only a few parts that we need to change. Well, we have not been 20 years, but the ones that we built for in 2011 still have the same product. We want to change a few things here and there, which we'll explain. Then the metal ones also are well insulated on the left because they are mobile, and because it's metal, it's exactly been 12 years. And in 12 to 15 years, we have customers that we have served since 2012 that are still using the stove, except that we have to change the fan and the dimmer and maybe the liner. Those are the three things that we do maintain. And when we say the length of time, like my colleague said, is how long, how well you handle the product. Because, for example, maybe I can jump into what goes wrong with the product. One of the things that you can't avoid in a home is spills. If you're cooking and spills, food boils and spills over. When it spills over, we simply say as long as you're cooking, you clean. But if you don't clean and it falls within, like it falls outside and goes straight into the connections, definitely the fan is going to stop. But what we did to mitigate that, on the fan on the board, we put a veranda to protect any spills, because it's accidental, that goes into the fan, which is the fan. We'll explain to you the different parts and what goes wrong. So these are some of the things. So how long should you decide to buy it? It depends on how you handle. But also we take you step by step, which parts you need to look out for, which parts you need to take care of. If the ash, for example, you need some ash while you cook, and this ash is from the hot ash. Don't wait for the ash to pile inside the ashtray and spill over, which will end up with the hot ash on top spilling over and burning the wiring of the stove on the dimmer board. Now, those are some of the things that we tell you that it will last as long as you take care of it. Like any ordinary TV at home, and I say this to a lot of customers, when power goes, do you leave your TV switched on? You simply know power has gone, you stand up, you switch off the TV, and this is a protection or safeguarding measure. So it's the same thing when you follow our do's and don'ts, and you follow this safeguarding measure on the product, you will not have issues. But you see, when we look at the cooking in the kitchen as, who cares, it's the back of the house, and then the sitting room's TV, which probably costs the same amount of money, is maintained or taken care of in that manner that when power goes, you switch off to make sure that if electricity comes back, it does not come with a high voltage and blows your TV circuit board. Why don't we do the same? When water is spilling into your stove, how about you wipe it so that the water doesn't spill into there? If the ashtray, because the instructions are like, before you light every day, make sure you empty the ashtray so that it's clean and it's empty, so that it's a new ash that is in at the beginning of the day, instead of piling all day. Because it's closed and it's not visible, people tend to ignore it. But the user manual speaks what to do, what not to do, how to light, and all these steps. So the same way you care for the TV, so it does not blow when the power voltage comes back very high, it's the same way you should care about the stove. And that is why we go further and send a technician to come to your home and educate you. And it's at your disposal to ask the technician any question so that you understand your product. This is where we come to you. There's all our solar-powered stoves. We come to your home and teach you, because we have to install it. We transport it sometimes, or maybe if you have a car, you transport a technician with the stove. Why do we intrude on your privacy in your home? This is not a supermarket. We don't sell this product in our outlet and say, now you've bought it on your own. No, we want to work with you. We want to teach you what you saw us do at our shop. We want you to learn it. And maybe I need to mention that, maybe Isaac, that the people that buy the stove are not actually usually the users. So you find that a husband has bought, or a father has bought for the children, or the wife is the one who has bought. Maybe she's at home and she's running it's a woman-headed home, but there's other people at home that are actually cooking with this product, that these people have not been trained. So as EcoStove, we say, just allow us to come with you. And it's 99% of the time, if it's me on the shop floor, I'll say, it's okay, my technician will drop it off and teach your people at home, because we know your job is to buy this product, but you're not the one to use it. So this user knowledge gap, what you saw us do at our outlet, you will not remember 99% when you get home. So we give you that extra support. And that is how we ensure that you're using your product correctly and make sure that it's going to live with you a bit longer. We have very happy customers since 2012. And I say this with confidence. Reason, they've asked us as many questions. Some of them have even educated us things that we educate the current customers. Because through using the product, they have learned the tricks, which tricks we are using to apply on our everyday sales language. So our product is not perishable. It's not a disposable product. It's how long you take care of it. And or anytime, please use an example of the TV and when the power cuts, what do you do? Those maintenance measures, can we do the same? And then you have your stove a bit more years, and that is value for your money. What happens if your stove breaks down? Because you have a warranty, we do not charge labor. You can come by, we have a walk-in center. All our branches can receive your product. If you're in Gulu, bring it to our outlet. It's on Kabalega Road, opposite the bus park. If you're in Barara, it's opposite, our outlet is opposite Stanbic, and so on and so forth. If you're in Kampala, we're on Wakaliga Road. If you're in Bukoto, we're opposite Middle East restaurant. You walk in, bring your product at no charge to you. Bring it to us, and we will repair or replace your product at only a cost of a spare part we are putting in. We do not charge labor. Why? Because we have the technology, we mastered this, and we have staff that are paid salary. So why should we pay you or charge you for a service, yet this is a relationship we're building? So we want to give you confidence that once you bring our customer, your product to us in-house, this is why we say we have a walk-in center. Any of our branches is a walk-in center. And so when you work in any of our branch, we'll be able to repair while you wait. Should it need to be taken to the factory, you bring it to our Wakaliga. Wakaliga branch is the only branch that can deliver your product to the factory. Reason is our head office. Also, we have trucks in and out of Wakaliga to the factory at no cost, because our factory is in Bujuko, which makes it a distance for a customer. So we say bring it to Wakaliga. If we can handle it here, we'll handle it here. If it needs to be sent further, it's on our cost. We don't charge you. But just so I can explain, the parts that we'll replace is the parts you're going to pay for. So yes, should your stove break down, you're guaranteed that we manufacture it, we can repair it. And this is a guarantee that I can give you. We put it together, we can disassemble it, put it back together. Basically, we're the doctors. Like how a doctor can open you up, sew you, remove something that is wrong in your stomach and put you back. This is what we do as EcoStove, because this is our product, it's our innovation. We understand in and out of it. We have experienced technicians and engineers that are actually involved in the manufacturing of the stove. So you can be well assured that should you walk into our outlet, we can repair it. But also, there are products that can't come. The reason I mention this, there are products that cannot be moved into our outlet. If the product cannot be shifted like a permanent stove for a school, we come to you. If it's in your home, it's bulk, it's an oven, or it's a grill, anything that is bulky, we only accept here single and a double. Because single and a double are easy, can sit on a border. Any border can bring at a very fraction of a cost, maybe 5,000, a border cost. If any of this is the problem, we can come to you, and this is where we charge a call-out charge, because there is facilitation of a technician and maybe fuel of a border to you. This is the only cost that you will meet, but not labor. So we have a call-out charge in Kampala and out of Kampala. And that's the only fee you'll pay to the company to facilitate a technician to come to your home, to your business, to take care of your product. And then the only part you must pay for is what we have assessed to need replacement. So as for the product, we are very sure, because all our products are brought new, and maybe my colleague can explain the parts that we normally replace.
Thank you so much. We have 3 types of parts here that I'm going to talk about that we replace in our EcoStoves. So we have one of them being the Eco fan. This fan that you're seeing, it's plastic. So it means that it can be burnt by fire, or it can also melt if there is too much too much heat around it, or if the client is not getting rid of the ash regularly. So there are clients usually who leave their ash to keep on piling in the ashtray, then forgetting that this fan keeps on moving and it keeps on blowing the ash, which is still hot, and the ash keeps on doing what? Getting to the fan. And in that process, you find that it ends up doing what? Burning the fan. It is because of the negligence of the client by refusing to follow the caution that we had already put around the stove. Because usually we put this in the stove on what to do and what not to do. The second one, we have what we call the dimmer. So this dimmer that you are seeing, it is what you use when you are when you are increasing and reducing on the heat in the stove, and when you are starting to light on the stove. So this also can get spoiled. How this gets spoiled is because of the heat. The heat which is on the dimmer.
Excess heat.
Yeah, excess heat, which is around the dimmer. Yes. This is also because of if the client still does not regularly get rid of the ash in the ashtray in the stove. So we also have the third one being our adapter. So this adapter that you are seeing, it is what you use to power your stove. The board where the dimmer is, where the fan also is. So this, you plug this in your socket, then you connect on the dimmer board, which is provided there. So the way this can also get spoiled, it's if a client exposes this to heat, or if a client uses high voltage of electricity on what? On the adapter.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you maybe add on that one? I can add on his adapter point. Sorry, I can borrow
Yes.
your adapter. This adapter has a light which indicates when it's working. So if this light is not showing, you don't have to second guess why my fans are not blowing, because this communicates directly with the mains of what is being put here. So technically, this is communicating between the two. So for this to move, if you're using power, only this is an AC-DC adapter. It's AC, meaning it runs direct on umeme, but it can also be plugged and run from an adapted inverted solar. So it can run with solar, it can run with umeme. These are provided, they're imported by ourselves. So you don't have to second guess. And like my colleague said, it's the same write-up that is here. AC-DC fans, meaning you can run it on umeme because it's been adapted using an adapter, and it will be able to operate on umeme directly and on solar, which is inverted. But also, this is acting as a communicator. It's what communicates through the main energy source, which is either hydropower or the solar power, and brings it into these two gadgets that are embedded within the stove. These are on brand that we import, brand new, that are actually embedded in all our products. We are currently actually selling them to all our trainees that are starting to make out the eco stoves. Then if you have the solar, maybe I can have that. If you have the solar, this is what we call a communicator. This communicates between your solar battery to your stove. And this is why we say that should anything go wrong, one of the first things we do, we check. When you say my stove has stopped working, we ask you to check the following. We tell you either move this, move that, move that. We do on-phone diagnostics before we ask you to bring the stove or before we come to you, so that we can know what we're actually supposed to be treating. So maybe those are some of the things. Now, like my colleague says, what can go wrong? Overflow of the ash. You find that because our stove is a smart stove, everything is closed. You don't see any open door of ashtray, any open door, like how ash overfills in a normal charcoal stove and ash drops. Ours, it doesn't drop outside. It's sealed. It's a smart kitchen. It's a smart stove. So because it's enclosed, the user tends to ignore, either through training or change of hands, and you find that they do not empty this ash on a daily. This ash is supposed to be emptied the next day, at least once before you start lighting. Why does it get emptied? That whatever you used the previous day is enough. Just empty it so that today you have a clean start. Now, you find that some people have used the stove for a month and have called me and say, but where does this in Uganda, where does this ash, I see I use charcoal dust, but where does the ash go? So they have never opened, yet they were trained. Now, it turns out the person we trained is actually not the user. So for them, they are happy to see themselves cooking, but they are not able to see where the ash is. Now, that ash is going to accumulate, become a mountain in the ashtray, and ends up spilling in the other parts of the stove internally. And what it does, it spills over and starts burning these cables that are wiring. These are wires that can get affected. Once the heat exposed, like my colleague is saying, they will melt this, they bind, and then longer run. On this one, when these wires that we open this, when the wires are melting, you find that you can hear that click. It's no longer clicking, it's just a washed out, because it no longer has that diode that holds it, that stops you and starts you. And this is why the customer will say, my thing in Uganda, they say, eyange tekendeeza. Then you automatically know, if you open the ashtray, if they were doing a video call, you'll be able to see that once you remove the ashtray, there's ash all over the base of the stove. And so when a customer calls, even if it's the husband or the wife who's not necessarily directly into the kitchen, what I say is I'm saying, please get into the kitchen, remove the ashtray, look inside. And this morning, someone called me because I'm the customer helpline. So once someone called me, I picked up, and then he said the fan is not working. So, and I bought it last year. So I said to him, if the fan is not working, let's do the following. Then he opened and he realized there was a lot of ash spilled all over when he removed the ashtray. So I said, this is the cause. So even if you bring it into the shop, we'll open it in your presence and we'll show you where the problem is. Because the problem may be the fan, yes, it's broken, but what caused the problem? Like when you go to the doctor, that's why we want you to walk in and bring the product to us. When you go to the doctor in hospital, the doctor will not see why you have a toothache, just a toothache. What caused the toothache? Is it the sugary food you eat? Is it the problem? Like we find out the problem, so we stop the problem so that toothache, once it's been repaired, does not come back. And this is what we do. This is why we go the distance to educate you about the product. This podcast is actually aimed to educating our users and the future users that these products are robust. We have customers that have lasted long with this product that will be hosted here and will be able to testify how the products works for them, how efficient they are, how they're easy to maintain, how somebody comes and from work and shows up and just cooks a meal. By the time they shower, the food is ready. These are testimonies or feedback that keeps us going every day. But there are others who are having problems. Either they are not directly involved in the cooking or they are not directly involved in the operation of the stove. They ended up on purchasing, but the person who's using it is either the product is changing hands or even the knowledge gap has expanded so much so. But also, we have an issue with change of behavior, Isaac.
Yes.
The change of behavior has become an issue because somebody is stuck in using firewood and charcoal. Once you're telling them use rocks, the attitude towards that becomes a problem. So all this, even if you're teaching them, we have seen it. You go to someone's home and it's like, am I inja? How is this going to work? Like the negativity. But the person who has purchased it, their interest is actually to save money. So the user need to change their mindset. And so this is what we're working with. This is why we insist on coming to your home and ensuring we are training the person who's going to use it. The do's and don'ts. How often do you open the ashtray? How often do you maintain this product? But otherwise, other than these other moving parts, the clay liner.
Yes.
A clay line is the other part that a customer needs to look out for. We have put a provision of a pot stand or a cone on top. And that pot stand, the purpose is to make sure that once you sit a saucepan of 5 liter on top of the stove, there's not exact pressure onto the clay liner, which is at the base. So remember, when you sit it direct on the stones, what it's going to do is going to exert pressure. And remember, the stones are red hot. The clay liner has turned red hot because the stones are, we're talking a kiln here. So the stones are red hot, which also makes the clay becomes red hot. Now, if somebody sits a saucepan of 3 liter or 5 liter on it, it's going to exert pressure on the stones, which exerts pressure on the base of the clay liner. And what that does, the bottom will fall in. When you call us and say the stove has fallen in, we automatically know what happened. It's like when you tell a doctor I have malaria, he'll simply tell you, do you have a mosquito
net?
Do you have a mosquito net? Because he knows the source of the problem. Or how often do you fumigate your compound? Stuff like that. So we are here to support our team. But we also say, as often as possible, ask us. Walk in. Let's retrain your maids. Let's retrain your shamba people. Let's retrain whoever is helping you maintain that home, that kitchen department. Bring that person, leave them with us for a day. Let's retrain, because these are services that we have. Because once you take care of this product will be value for your money. And we're saying in our work in any of our branches, simply carry the new person that is going to use the product to us at no cost to us. We are going to take care of it, no cost to you, sorry. We're going to make sure we teach this person, the new person, on the do's and don'ts of the stove. And then the next person. Why don't we tire? Because we know this product is here to save you money, and you paid your money. So we want to make sure there's value for you. And nobody can guarantee that I have the same maid for 10 years, 20 years. Should it change hands, we're here to support you.
Yes, it is very safe to use the stove indoors because it does not emit any dangerous gases, and it does not produce smoke. It is smoke-free.
Yeah.
And as we said, the stove is insulated.
Maybe I also need to add on that one that the stove was tested in 2012. It was retested in 2018. We tested it under Creek. We tested it under Naviera, under Minister of Energy. We tested our stove under URI, Uganda Industrial Research Institute. We tested our stove under UNBS. So why did we do that? We did all these tests because we want customer confidence, but we also want to speak from a confidence angle that we know it does not cause any health issues. But maybe I need to mention, these are stones that have evaporated after a volcanic eruption. The stones have lost the gases, so they don't have any gases that are still within the stones. These are porous. They're really empty stones that have nothing. They've just solidified lava. And for that reason, there's nothing that is there that is dangerous. But tests are there to prove, and should any customer, you're at liberty to call us and say, can I see your test certificate? We're happy to submit it because we know it's by far the most safe thing. But that is on the stone. But because we're still using an element of charcoal dust in your homes, it will be the charcoal dust that will be an issue for you. That how clean are this charcoal dust? Because charcoal dust is from charcoal.
Yeah.
And so if the charcoal, the 10% is an issue, then maybe you can light your stove from outside to avoid the charcoal emissions, the charcoal dust emission that will come to you. But that is the only element that would bring you any carbon emission of a certain degree from the charcoal dust element. But in Uganda, we are blessed that we have external kitchens and people cook on a veranda, as long as the water does not end up, or the rainwater does not end up in the stove. Because we say, even it's protected, it needs to be well guarded so that there's no water going into the electricals right there.
When we look at how an eco stove helps to reduce the afforestation, first of all, an eco stove uses what we call the reusable volcanic rocks for cooking. You are not using your charcoal for cooking, or you are not using your firewood for cooking, but here strictly what you are using for cooking is the volcanic rocks. So you are using 85 to 95% of the rocks. So the element that we are talking about as being a catalyst, that is the charcoal dust, the charcoal particles, it is just 5%. So here you are using 95% of the rocks and 5% of the charcoal particles, which means that we are promoting more of environmental conservation compared to the other people who are using the traditional cook stoves. Because, for example, when we look at someone who is using an eco stove, we give you rocks which you are going to use for a period of 2 years. Yes. Is there any kind of charcoal that you can use for a period of 2 years?
Definitely not.
It's not
maybe
there. So when we look at someone who uses normal charcoal that people use every day, yes, for example, a family, like maybe one family, can use 1 bag of charcoal for only 3 weeks. So in a year, how many bags do you need to use?
And maybe when you talk about the family size as well.
Yes, also we look at the family sizes. So we can say that, for example, to make 1 bag of charcoal, you need to cut down around 4 to 10 trees. So
depending on the size.
Depending on the sizes of the trees that you're cutting also matters. So you can go even beyond that.
Yeah.
So roughly when we look at maybe an average person, that's how we are looking at it. But we're looking at our country, we have extended families. In that you have to use more of the charcoal, even the 3 weeks that I'm talking, maybe even less. So you find that maybe when we look at the number of, maybe in a year you'll need around 17 bags. So for you to come up with the 17 bags, it means that you have cut down around 170 trees. So which means that you are creating a lot of harm to our environment. The person who is using an ordinary stove compared to someone who is using an eco stove. So a person who is using an eco stove is promoting more of the environment conservation, because when you cut down the trees, there are so many things which are going to be associated to it. There's soil erosion, and there's a lot of things which are associated to cutting down the trees. So an eco stove is the right choice of the stove that you should go with.
Yeah. And maybe to add on what my colleague is saying, the mathematics are very scary. Whether you're using, let me say this, whether you're using a gas cooker, or you use, even if it's the president of Uganda, and is not using charcoal or firewood in his home, or his Rachitura home or state house, climate change affects everybody the same. Whether you're in, even if you're in America and I'm in Uganda, I'm using firewood. If I'm using firewood or charcoal as the only source of fuel, definitely climate change, which the question we're answering is environment. It affects, climate change affects everybody the same way, whether you're using this rudimentary way of cooking or not. Climate change is respect of no standard or level of income. So I would say that depending on the numbers he said, they're very scary, because if a family, average family of Uganda is about 5 people, average. We're about 48 million households today.
Yes.
About 11 million households, about 48 million people. Now, those are the voters we're looking at. There are probably expatriates that don't vote and other people. So now but also remember, in Uganda, every home will have, most homes will have a gas cooker, will still have a charcoal stove, because the tradition of food dictates how you cook your food. So environment is really facing it hard, because one or the other, everybody is guilty of our action. So we came up with the innovation that will reduce on our overdependence on our environment. We're not claiming to have done it 100%, but we're saying we're doing it 90%. As long as you're using reusable rocks, as my colleague said, you're conserving environment in some way, that you're reducing on overdependence. If he's saying an average family of 5 uses a bag of 50 kg 50 kilo of charcoal, and it lasts only 3 weeks, a maximum 3 weeks today, if you have no alternative fuel. And that is about 17 bags in a year. And translate that into small trees, maybe 10 trees per bag. That's about 170 trees. How many are we planting? How many of us are planting trees to cover up? And a tree takes 3 years to 5 years to grow, depending on the species you're using. So you're using 10 trees, okay, let's say 4 trees, the biggest. 4 trees and they will last only 3 weeks. We should be worried. We should be worried about our children's future. We should be worried about the other generation to come. I don't know, we're in the Gen Z and these, so I don't know the other one, what it will be called. But the thing is, how is the climate, how is the environment going to be? What are we leaving behind? Someone will say, well, this is what I grew up cooking with. I've had so many customers say, but I grew up cooking with firewood, or my food tastes better with firewood. But what are other negative impacts are you causing to the environment? We need to take personal responsibility when it comes to how we negatively impact on our climate, on our environment, for the children of today and the children of tomorrow. We may not be here, but we need to care about the future of our generation. I mean, where are we educating the children today? Where are we sending them to school if we don't care about the environment they're going to live in? I'm asking a parent today, why do we care? Why should a child's future be cared for when it comes to education and school fees? Why not the environment? So we're intentionally, as EcoStove, investing in a technology that is caring for the children of tomorrow. But also, we don't want to hype this. We have other products that also are not EcoStove, which don't use volcanic rocks. Uganda has generated a lot of power today. All the dams you hear that have taken over all the rivers of Uganda, these dams are generating a lot of power. We'll bring an expert on board who will explain more about how much power are we generating as a country. Why are we not utilizing it? So we came up with the technology of electric pressure cooker called Eco Pressure Cooker. If you could see clearly here, this is a pressure cooker that uses electricity, very little electricity. Why is this innovation being promoted? It's promoted because that category of customer who doesn't want to use the rocks, really we have another option where you don't have to cut a tree. So we are saying, let's take personal initiative to try and save our money, because I think a bag of charcoal today is between 80 to 100,000, which lasts 3 weeks. How much money is that in a year? When you calculate that, you're over over 700,000 in a year. You're spending on charcoal, but the impact on the environment, which is the reason we are discussing this, is very negative. And the impact is a ripple effect. Is today I've cut this tree, how long does it take me to plant, if at all I plant? As Eco, we're into bamboo. We've planted bamboos all over. We have land, we have hectares. National Forest Authority gave us some land. We planted bamboos. That's our way of contributing to afforestation. In Noya, we have 2 square miles of bamboo we've planted. Why? A bamboo is a regenerating product. And we're intentionally doing something that we're not only inventing technologies that are going to reduce on tree cutting, but we're saying we're doing our little bit. We have a drive we are trying to come up with where we are willing to give bamboo cuttings to people to plant around their homes. Plant a bamboo, because in 3 years you'll have 30 bamboos. And that alone will mitigate the effects of climate change around you, but it gives you shelter, it's a windbreaker. Trees are everything else. So that will be another lesson for another day. But today we're talking about environment impact that is caused by tree cutting. And so as EcoStove, we're doing our small efforts, maybe a drop in the sea, but it's something that has to be started on. And this is our impact today.